Hi, this is my audience. Have you ever thought about how hard it would be to be a student athlete and not even be able to afford a simple meal like McDonald's? My name is Gus Freeman, and today I'm going to talk to you about why student athletes should get paid. College athletes should be paid due to the fact that it is almost a full-time job. The schools make multi-million dollars off of these athletes, and a lot of student athletes go into a lot of debt just to play the sport that they've always loved. Sports, first off, I would like to start by saying that sports are almost a full-time job. College athletes spend at least 40 hours a week on their sport, according to my source, Top 10. It is already hard enough for student athletes to play at such a high level that they do and be able to balance their social life and make good grades. Although the NCAA says student athletes could only practice 20 hours with the team, they do a lot of individual stuff that could take up to 10 to 20 hours, according to my source, Jacobs. With this being said, I would like to talk about a personal experience dealing with this. I have a buddy who plays baseball at a school that I don't want to name because I obviously don't want to get them in trouble, but he said that every time they have to sign off on their 20-hour practice schedule a week, they sign at the end of every week. And he was talking to me about how they really practice anywhere from 30 to 40, but the coach threatens them by taking away their scholarship, and this is why that they have to sign the 20-hour and saying that they only did 20. With this being said, it is obvious that no student athlete wants to get their scholarship taken away because college is already hard enough to pay for. This leads me into my next point about how student athletes will fall into a lot of debt. More than 150,000 student athletes receive $2.4 billion in academic scholarship money each year from the NCAA. This works out to about $16,000 per student athlete, which falls quite short of College Board's estimated cost of tuition. This is from my source, How Much. Basically what this is saying is that obviously many student athletes will get full rides, but for the majority of us, we are not able to get a full ride, which means sometimes if you're not able to pay for college, it makes it very hard. While a lot of other college student athletes have full rides, the majority obviously don't. And with this being said, even the highest profile student athletes, on average, wind up incurring $3,000 per year in debt, according to my source, How Much. Basically, what this is being said is that when schools such as Texas or Alabama, football players there, yes, they do get full rides. But for baseball in the NCAA, there are only 12.1 scholarships allowed. And with only 12.1 scholarships, there is a 35-man roster limit. So obviously, there's not enough money to go to everyone. So people on partial scholarships or 20% scholarships, which doesn't help pay for all of their college, which is why people who don't come from very much back home, it makes it very hard for them to be able to afford going to college without going into debt later in their life. Next, I would like to talk about how schools are making so much money off athletes. And they should at least be able to get something as simple as groceries, something to eat, gas money, different stuff like that. Which is why I would like to say that just $100 to about $200 either a month or a semester would be a big help. For me, especially in my case, I live 3.5 hours away. And if I was able to get $100 to $200 a month or even a semester, this would help pay for gas money to be able to go see my family more often. The University of Texas has gained $163 million in the athletic department just in 2012. This is from my source, Klein. Obviously, with this being said, over 100 schools around the United States are currently making $20 million in revenue just from sports, again from my source, Klein. And with schools making this much money, it just makes it even harder for me to understand why schools wouldn't want to help out their athletes with maybe just a little stipend every month or within the semester to help them afford gas money if they can go home, or groceries just so they can eat within their apartment or house or in the dorms. For me personally, being a college student athlete right now, my schedule is obviously very busy, and just a couple $100 to $200 a month or a semester would be a very big help for me to go be able to see my family, get groceries and stuff like that. Currently, my schedule, I would like to take you through kind of what my schedule looks like now. I normally wake up for a class at about 7, that way I can get to go to breakfast because it's the most important meal. And after that, I go to my class at 8, which is from about 8 to noon. At 1 is when we have baseball practice every day, which means I only have an hour to get to the field, get dressed, be ready after class, and grab something to eat. Normally I eat at the cafeteria, which obviously is not the best food ever and isn't helping me put good nutrition into my body, which again is why something like a stipend would really help me out to be able to get good nutrition and be able to be energized and ready to go for practice. After that, we normally get done with practice at about 5 o'clock, and that is when we'll go eat again at the cafeteria. And when we go eat at the cafeteria, like for the third time that day, then normally we still haven't had great nutrition within our body, and being able to go buy groceries just so I could eat back at the dorms would be a huge help for us. And then next, I would like to talk kind of wrap it up and say that obviously college student athletes do need to be paid because it will help them out a lot, especially in a situation such as mine, which would help me go see my family in a difficult time like this with COVID. It makes it very hard living 3.5 hours away to be able to see them because they don't want to come to practices and come to games or just come to visit for a meal just due to the fact that COVID. So that having a stipend would really help me out a lot. Overall, the NCAA needs to look into paying athletes for the 3 main points of sports being a full-time job. The schools are a multi-million-dollar industry and they make multi-million dollars off of sports, and how much debt college athletes fall into. So I would just kind of want to leave you off with, so really just think, how would you feel if you worked 40 hours a week and never got paid? Thank you. I'm Gus Freeman.